Well, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. I'm so glad you did. I'm Jimmy. We're making it work. We're out here at the shop getting things open up so we can get started. We're going to learn some things. We're going to have some fun. We're going to keep the world moving. That's what we do every day. Basically, I'm literally taking you to work with me. If you're new here, sometimes it can be hectic. Sometimes it can be nothing to do. I try to make the video interesting. Show you a little bit of behind the scenes, trying to make a living, keeping the lights on, things like that, but helping people out at the same time. Beautiful morning, about 80 degrees already. The humidity is not too crazy, about 1300%, give or take. What do we got for battery? 100% charged on the battery, man. We are ready to go. This thing also has good battery life for those who are wondering. It seems like the battery life is also better than the GoPro. You guys let me know what you think about the footage so far in comparison to the Mission 1 that I used 2 weeks prior. Almost 3 weeks. And then before that I was using the Hero 13. So those 3 cameras, the past month I've used 3 different cameras. So if you can tell any difference in the video or audio, let me know. Appreciate the feedback. You guys have been awesome. Very patient too. I've put out quite a few sketchy videos lately trying to sort some of this stuff out, and all in the name of making it better. I tried to do that to make it better, and it made it a little worse for a little bit, but that's part of the learning curve, and that's part of making it work. It's basically the whole premise of the channel is trying to correct things that aren't quite right, like someone just put this right by my truck where if I tried to back up I would hit it. Me personally, what I would have done is put it over here like this. But that's just me. That's just how I do things. Yesterday, we were modifying this shock tower mount for this Land Rover. I got to put these bolts in and weld them in. That's what we're going to be doing today probably. I'm not sure when. Depends on how many customers come through the door for service. So let's get in there, finish getting this place open up, see what we can do to make it a productive day. Stay tuned. Got the welder out. I'm gonna put some tack welds in this. Doesn't take much, just looking for enough of a weld to hold the bolts in place till everything's bolted together. Right. Now, it's close to perfect. It'll work. Well, this car might look familiar. I don't know. Depends on how good your memory is. See those motor mounts? I put motor mounts in. It had a shaky idle. And they gave me the ticket and said, it's still doing the same thing. I said, what do you mean? Well, it stalls when you have the air on. I'm like, okay, I remember that problem. We never got it to do it. So since we didn't do anything that would have fixed that, of course it's still doing it. Hey, at least I got something to do, right? I got the air on. I got it running. There's no codes, no check engine light. So I'm not really sure what we'll find with this, but we'll see. If there's a throttle body problem or something like that, we would know pretty quick. We usually have a code. I've never seen any type of throttle related problem without a code, but we're going to play with it, try to get it to do something. I'm going to take it for a drive and see what we come up with on it. I think this car bottoms out. There it is, just a little touch. Alright, we'll go for a drive. I'm not going to film a lot while I'm driving here. I'll see if we get it to do something for us, at least see what he's talking about. I think last time I did the same thing. I drove it about 12 miles, 2 6-mile road tests, and I think one of the other guys drove it and never got it to act up as well. So we'll see if we can find something for him at least. If I feel it, at least I'll have an idea which direction we're going. I think he said cold starts when it does it the most, which is kind of a shame. It's already warmed up. Yeah, it's not doing anything, so I'm gonna let it cool off a little bit and see what they wrote in the symptoms here. Same problem as before. When first starting, it wants to stall, and when the AC is on at stop, the engine stalls. So I turn off the AC to keep the engine running at traffic lights intermittently. All right, maybe we'll just drive it a couple times throughout the day, see if we can get it to occur, because there's nothing I'm going to sell them unless it does it. Now, the vehicle's got new shocks, new struts, new front brakes, rear brakes. I did spark plugs and motor mounts last time because I knew he had bad motor mounts. You could definitely feel the engine vibrating in the steering wheel. So that's what we went after last time. And I said, that's not the problem he's asking about, I don't think. I never got it to act up, so. Now we're not selling him anything, not even an air filter, until I can see what he's talking about. I'm gonna let it cool off a little bit, and I'll try it again. Maybe cold, it's a little worse or something like that. Give this thing another try. But throw it right in gear cold. Nothing. Alright, time to go for another drive. Got the trusty phone with me so I can't get stuck. Well, I can't get abandoned on the side of the road for days. Let's put it that way. I'll take it for a drive and see what happens. That's all. I drove it once, so I'll drive it again. Let's see what happens. I'll take it on a longer drive. I only went like a mile, so. Now, we're going on a serious road test. Let's see what he's talking about. Maybe something's going on with the AC compressor. Once it gets some time on it. Although it said cold, I think. Same problem as before. When starting wants to stall when the AC is on, it stop. The AC to the customer is a video. Okay. Enough of that. Let's go drive it. See if I can feel what he's talking about. Doesn't feel productive for some reason, but I gotta at least try. Must be garbage pickup day. Garbage cans all over the joint. Let's see how it does at this street. Hasn't done anything yet. And there is someone following me. I don't mean following me like stalking me, I mean behind me. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Do something for me, little Hyundai. 122,000 miles. It's 40,000 miles of bonus life already on it. That's pretty good. It's got fresh, clean oil. It's full. He says he's worried about some oil leaks, but we've told him he had a rear main seal and a valve cover gasket leaking before, so I told him again. And I don't think I filmed that, but someone else has already done that. So it was in our history that we recommended it. I think it was whoever did all the shocks and struts and sway bar links and the brakes. So, let's see how it does at this light. The air is on, by the way. Here we go. Coming to a stop. Alright, we're going to keep going. Still nothing. Alright, still nothing, but I'm thinking this truck here is going to turn right sometime soon. We'll see. That's 6 miles so far. Got another mile and a half to be back at the shop. Well, I wish I had better news. I'll drive it some more. That's frustrating because, I mean, unless they have some serious kind of problems, people don't generally make stuff up and bring their car in without any problem. He said it's doing it way more now. But I'm not sure, you know, sometimes people go from, well, it was doing it once a month. Now it does it way more, like 3 times a month. The problem is, and South Main Auto just had a video about this. The problem is you can't drive a car for a month trying to figure out what it's doing, and then once it does it, then to diagnose it, each stage of the testing, you have to get it to do it again. You eliminate a possibility, you go to another possibility, and each time it happens, you can narrow it down. What he did in the vehicle he worked on was, it was a cam phaser, and it was setting a code, which is one of the easiest ways. You get a code, that's gravy. Of course, in that video he made, the dealership couldn't or didn't want to mess with it or whatever, but it had a cam timing code and ran bad. So if it physically runs bad, it's actually happening. It's not an anomaly like an electrical wiring concern. If you had a cam timing code and it ran great, then you'd be looking at wiring and things like that. But when they had a cam timing code, it ran bad. So he moved the bank 1 cam sensor to bank 2 and the bank 2 to bank 1. They're exactly identical. And the code moved to the other bank. It took like a month to do it again. He replaced that cam timing solenoid. Problem solved. But he had codes. This one has no codes, there's no lights on, and it runs good every time we mess with it. So we're gonna keep trying. I'm not gonna give up. But all we can do is drive it, at least feel what he's talking about. That'll give us a really good idea. Bing, bing, bing. This is supposedly the new plate they sent, but it's not new. You can see they painted it. It's used, and it came with 2 of the nuts on it, but the threads are kind of sketchy on some of them. So it's just, I should have just modified it, I guess. $75 on eBay. Basically, having a Land Rover is expensive. I'm going to get a thread chaser and chase these threads. It's 8x175, I believe, or 150. I forget which way it goes. 8x125 is most of them, so it might be 8x1.0. You metric guys, you know. Where is it here? I got a tool that is super handy dandy for just such an occasion. I think this will work. It's usually there's one side that's best to start it from, and one side you don't wanna. Yeah, that's right. I would have never threaded it on that far by hand. I'm gonna run this with a little ratchet. 13, I think it is. I got a power tool. Let's see here. Joe was coming over to chit chat, and I flipped the camera on to record this repair, and he went, "Oop," and walked away. I'm like, "Hey, come say hi to the people." He's like, "No, I gotta go." It's so funny. A lot easier to do this now than it is in the car. It's sketchy starting with a power tool, isn't it? I know what I'm doing, don't worry. I'm not gonna stop you from telling me in the comments I shouldn't, but that's all right. I had someone posting. I haven't looked at my second channel comments in about a week, which is bad. I need to keep up on that a little better if I'm going to do it. But someone was in there saying that if I want to maintain respect, I should give better information when it comes to oil change intervals. What? 5,000 miles. I'm not going to say it again. Don't make me send you to your room. It's too funny. Oh man. Well, these threads are cleaned up. Now what I guess I'm gonna do is get this up in here. I think it's not square, it's rectangular. You can see how it's longer here to here than it is from here to here. So it's got to go back in a certain way, and I'll put a nut on there to hold it in place while I do the spring part. Matter of fact, I might put 2 of my nuts on it. The nuts that they sent with this thing are not as clean a thread as the other nuts. I'm going to put this away so I don't lose my thread chaser, and we'll see if we can pry the spring in there without, because that the drive shaft looks like it wants to disengage. I don't want any not that it'd be terrible to put it back in. I just don't want to have to. If I don't have to, I'm going to avoid it. I don't need to tighten it, I just want to hold it up. One less thing to deal with while I'm fumbling with the spring. I think we're going to, it's almost lunchtime. That one Kia or Hyundai with the intermittent stall is the only ticket I've gotten today. We're going to go to lunch soon. Joe wants to go to Subway. I'm not really a big Subway fan, but Joe wants to go to Subway and he's leaving soon. We'll go where he wants. Let's see here. I wish my spring compressor had it stripped out. It would probably come in pretty handy. It wouldn't be nearly as sketchy. I'm going to keep you guys a little further away than I probably should for the best video, but I don't want to have to buy a third camera this month if I can avoid it. Now I have other spring compressors that aren't, I thought I was using my heavy duty one. Apparently not, but we'll give it a couple of goes with this, see if we can come up with something. That didn't work. That didn't work.
You run the lift or anything?
No. It's hanging down as far as it can hang down at this point. Springs don't normally respond well to hammering. They respond better to constant tension. Alright, that's one. Now, it would really help if I could turn the spring this way without having to come back out at me. The springs are sketchy, but they're also, they have a mind of their own. So when you think it's going to fight you really hard, all of a sudden, doink, it goes in. And if you think it's going to go right in, it springs back out at you, and you're sad. So I need 2 pry bars so my fingers aren't in there. It's pretty sketchy, huh? You having fun yet? Edge of your seat stuff. Hold on. Show's going to get better. I hope. Can't get worse. Come on. Let's do this thing. There you go. See? It's easy. What's the big deal? A little bit of spring tension never hurt anybody. Well, that's not true. A little bit of spring tension never hurt anybody that was careful while they were doing it. Springs are, I'm making little jokes, but probably not something I should be doing. People have gotten seriously hurt. So you have to respect it. And always be aware that the more it's compressed, the more stored energy there is, and it's going to want to go bang. But in my experience, at least, you guys tell me that are mechanics too, you might know. In my experience, the spring isn't what does the damage when it comes off the rails, it's the tool. The tool getting ejected from the spring becomes a projectile. The spring itself kind of stays where it is, and the tools come at you. So like when I'm messing with it with my pry bar, I'm holding on to this pry bar for dear life so it doesn't spring back at me, and no one wants the pry bar to hit you. So it's the spring itself isn't really the danger, it's the tools. Tell me what you think. Even more importantly now, I need to get the shock back in. And then once I've done that, we're basically on the home stretch. Got my new shock right there. Got some bushings stacked up on the workbench over there. I might have this side back together before lunch, which is in 45 minutes or so. Let's see here. Shock faces this way. Let's build the bottom first. And go like that. One of those. Now this also comes with these tin I think this seat, this is going to go in here. Like that. And it's going to add some length to that. I hope this is going to be long enough. I guess they know what they're doing, huh? Who am I to guess? Should be able to put it in just like that. This will go on from underneath afterwards. Then we'll start building the top. And the tower goes on. And another rubber bushing washer and a nut. It's basically simple but complicated at the same time. It's a beautiful thing. Let's get you facing towards the work. Don't worry, I'll let that out so you don't get nauseous. Well, I guess that'll work. Now, I think if I move my jack stand over here and get the diff back up a little bit, it's going to be easier to get the bottom of the shock, because right now the diff, the spring cup's like that and the shock's like that. So if I straighten it, I'm going to have that extra 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch of room to get all my bushings and stuff on. There's a lot of stuff to fight gravity with right here. Might have to go in a couple at a time. This guy, can't even see nothing, can you? I can't fit that in there between the diff and the plate. Let's see. I do just a washer, just a rubber biscuit. Yeah, there's no threads sticking out of there. The washer's not even on it yet. Try turning the shock and pushing down on it. See if I can get a thread started. Nope. What do they expect you to do? I'm gonna have to leave one of those metal washers out, I guess. Oh, I got a little room to pick the diff up some more, I guess. It's a process, like everything. All right, I got this unpinned on purpose. I'll try to see if I can turn the shock like I did coming apart. If you saw that video, I don't remember if it was, I guess it was 2 days ago. This seems like the biggest coil spring opening. I'm gonna mess with this about 20 minutes. Try to get this lower nut tight, and then we'll put the top up together. Alright, now, same thing on the top. Washer, rubber biscuit. And it's gonna go on here. And this goes around all the equipment. They tell you to unbolt all this stuff, but I got it apart. Hopefully I can get it back together. I might have to compress the shock a little bit, we'll see. Don't forget, there's 2 washers per bushing on this one for some reason. There you go. Fits in like a glove. Now this also has, it's facing the right way, aerodynamic way. Let's see here. Grab some nuts. See what's up. I gotta hold this down while getting my nuts started. Ugh. And this is not worth 0.8, never mind the 0.3 they get at the dealership. Luckily it got me some more labor because of all the broken bolts and taking the springs out and stuff. So I think it's 2.5 hours now instead of 1.6, which is pretty cool for fabricating parts and stuff. They got a good deal. Wonder who that is. Came in to get out of the sun. I'm the only one out in the shop right now. I don't know where everybody went, but No, this is 3/8 drive. It gotta be a little more genteel. These apparently will break, right? So we don't want that. Don't forget your last biscuit. Oh, we're gonna get a little more creative on this side. I got my Anvil spring compressor. You guys know, I got a lot of tools. Sometimes I have too many and I forget what tools I have. It's just how it is. I can't help it. I'm thinking that instead of prying the spring out of place, that washer was on the wrong side of the bushing, by the way. That's the thick one. It's supposed to go on the shock side. Anyway, if I can get the spring just to compress about 1 inch, the length of these studs, I can get the plate out of there and put in the fabricated plate I fixed already. Right? I don't even have to take the spring out. I do have it hanging like I did before. I think it's a 7/8 wrench. Let's make sure. I get my ratchet wrench too, but probably should have got a ratchet wrench, but now I'm determined to not get one. That's how it works in my tiny little brain. I almost said tiny head, but that would be a lie. Oh, you know what it's doing? It's straightening the spring out because it was curled on the diff, the way that that plate is. It's straightening it out before it compresses it. So we're getting there.
I'll probably speed it up for you guys and make it sound like I'm talking funny. I laugh my own butt off every time I do that while I'm editing. Cracks a guy up.
Now, having my fingers in here might seem like a dangerous place, but honestly, it's a lot more dangerous up here. If the teeth or the splines or threads would actually ever let go, this is going to open up and this is going to go up. That's why I'm grabbing it by here. Alright, we're getting somewhere now. Whoops. Didn't mean to startle you guys. The wrench just came off. No big deal. I'm also trying to cover the end of this wrench the best I can. So if it does go wrong, I'll just punch myself in the face instead of the wrench punching me in the face. There you go. I didn't think I'd have to take it that far out, honestly, but what's done is done. All right, going back together. I almost feel like I could unthread it by hand, but not quite. Just slightly optimistic. Gravity check. Now I do have to pry this back onto the lower spring pad. At least with this tool I can adjust how much load is on the spring. I need to get that just right so it'll go back on without too much muss or fuss. Alright, for those of you who haven't seen the video on this tool, it's pretty cool. I don't use it a lot though. That's why I said I had forgotten I even had it. But it's 3 pieces. There's 2 Allen bolts on either side. There's 3 different size spring pockets. And it doesn't fit every application, but it works on a lot of them. Sometimes you gotta have two hands to handle a whopper. There you go. All I want to do is unbolt these. All you really need that for is so that this doesn't slide sideways and come off the mount, and let the spring go. Boing! Good luck, kid. Hope everything works out for you. You didn't know that in Kissimmee you can go 150 miles an hour, huh? Did you? Heck yeah, come to Kissimmee. We know how to party around here. Pro tip, don't eat a Subway sub when you try to bend over to put your tools away. Now they had the metal washer underneath on this for some reason. Wasn't supposed to be that way. If you put the thin washer up top, you risk the thin washer flexing a lot and coming apart and things like that. But it's about the same as the other side from here on out. Then I got to do an alignment on this thing. I got my lock nut on, my jam nut jammed. I'm gonna get the wheel on so it'll help push the, although that'll make it worse, won't it? That's all right. I'm up for the challenge. Let's make it worse. Get this wheel on. Gotta get my big giant nuts on here. And my little nuts go up top on the tower there. For anyone looking at these hardware on the lift and going, what? It doesn't all make sense. This is the last bushing. So when we get up top, it'll be thin washer, rubber bushing, thick washer, and two shiny new nuts. Well, if I can't get it to go together from there, I'm in rough shape. You gotta compress the shock a wee bit, lad. I need something to correct the T-Rex situation. I'm gonna bring two of my nuts up top and two of my nuts from below, because the two of them you can get in the shock tower area. I mean the wheel well area. I did have to tweak these bolts after welding them. I just put a couple nuts on them, put a socket and extension, and tweaked them until they looked square. Worked out pretty well. Gonna go like this. And it just barely lets you catch a thread. 17 or 18? 17. There's a shoulder in there so you can bottom it out. If there's no shoulder, then I watch the rubber compress a certain amount and stop, depending on the shock design. Mass airflow sensor, air box, then we'll go into the alignment rack. Ooh, there's some leverage on that. That's fine. I got a tool for that. Custom Land Rover mass airflow installer tool. Where are you at? There you go. Had a clipper doodle hold me up. Jeez Louise. Can't close an air cleaner lid. I gotta get back in the gym. Ugh. What the heck? Gotta tighten this clamp over here. That's last. Whoop, I gotta do this too. Don't worry, we'll get it. Oh boy. That's a beautiful sight. Rover discovery about to make it happen. I don't remember if I checked the air in the tires. Let's do that now. Use the alignment rack. It'll air them up for you. It's kind of finicky. Sometimes it's hard to get them to seal. Just have to listen to see if it's hissing when you hook it up, but 50-50. Sometimes I just get my old air tool out and just put air in the tires manually. Seems easier. Fast and Furious pickup truck guy. There's a lot of racing going on today. Haven't had the camera on for most of them. Kisseme's like a free-for-all, you know. People, I mean literally every single day, at least 3 or 4 people go by racing and bikes doing wheelies and stuff every single day. Nothing surprising anymore. Except coming home from work the other night. 3 kids on electric motorcycles looking like little dirt bikes. They're just standing in the road chit-chatting. They look right at me and continue on with their conversation, blocking the road. I found that interesting. Alright. I don't know if this thing's even going to be in our database. This one the old-fashioned way, roll it up Mount Welly. I can't see the screen because this thing's shaped like a shoebox. I'm going to try right there and see how it goes. Now since I'm not in there driving it up like a savage, I have to put a brake pedal depressor and stuff on it and lock the brakes. When I go up here, the brake pedal depressor's on it. If I did it enough, it won't yell at me about locking the brakes. And there's some play in that steering wheel. Well, in the steering box, unfortunately, which is also leaking slightly. We're going to see if we can get them in alignment of some sort. Holy moly, it's really not bad. According to this, the wheel is going to be off to the left when I straighten the wheel, because right now the wheel's straight. I'll lock it down where it's at, but we're going to have to adjust it a few times probably. Based on experience, when you're locking the steering wheel and the tires aren't locked, you have a few tries at it. You want to see something cool? Maybe cool is not the right word, but maybe we should say interesting. Now this is braced to the steering box, braced to the frame. It's a drag link for the rear end. Ha! This is a tie rod end for adjusting the steering wheel and when that's centered. This goes from this side over to this side for the total tow. So what's going to happen is I need to bring the right side in. It's easier on a graph. Bring the right side in and the left side out. So I probably can get most of my correction with this one because it's going to move both front tires together. And the total tow will stay about the same, which it won't show you on this screen, but if I hit print, it'll show you on that screen the total tow. Let's see what we can get out of this bar. Is it a 12 or a 13 on both ends? I think it's a 12. Could even be 11, my goodness gracious, it's tiny. Not too rusty, especially on the oily side where the steering box is leaking. So, loosen it up, see what we can do. Shoulder here, what are you looking at me for? It's right up here. Come on. Let's get this thing done. Stop staring. It makes me uncomfortable. My mom always said, get used to it, sweetheart. You're gorgeous. Anyway, that's loose. I need to get some pliers of some sort to motivate this thing to rotate. I got my oil filter wrench, which should work also as a Land Rover tie rod tool. Nope. I thought for sure it was going to happen pretty easy. Well, I don't want to shred all the metal off of it. Let's loosen it some more. Yeah, it's flopping around, so should be loosening, no? What do you think? I see a slot right here. I didn't think there was one. But that should be good once you loosen the clamp. If I have to, I'll get a pipe wrench or something. If this won't grab it enough. Wow. Now this side does turn. I saw it turning here. It's the other side that's frozen. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. A little bit of moose juice. See how that works. Let it sit a minute. Oh yeah. Give me some more of that, baby. Are you kidding? How far we got? What was that about? I don't know, 2 turns? We got a lot closer. A lot closer, but we got a little ways to go. You have to probably adjust the other bar to get the total toe better, which I didn't think that would happen, but I'm guessing is just enough of wiggliness in each of the components. There's no measurable play in anything that I can see other than the steering box. So we'll do what we can. Now, I've got that's to center the steering with the tie rod end, right? That's pretty centered, within 4/100ths, I mean, of a degree. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. It doesn't measure in the thousands. Fast and furious. Whoa, that was nice, man. Smoking a little bit. That's all right. That happens. You run 60 pounds of boost, man. You gotta smoke a little bit. But it gets that Nissan to 150 HP. Woo, hang on. Sorry, I can't help myself. Well, what's gonna be awkward is, oh. Okay, I can. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Maybe I'm imagining it. I don't think that Land Rover would do this, but maybe they would. It's got an adjustment over here. It's a bracket for the steering stabilizer. It's got an adjustment over here, real rusty, and an adjustment over there. I'm gonna guess if you loosen these 2 clamps, you can change the total toe. And you don't have to loosen that clamp unless you're changing that tie rod end. Place your bets. I don't normally like to loosen from the bolt side, you might know. But these are little tiny bolts, and I didn't feel like going back in my toolbox. I'm just going to remain hopeful, because my toolbox is like 25 feet away. I don't want to go all the way over there. This is which way to tread station, you see? I think it'll tow it in if I turn this tie rod end this direction. So let's try that. Well, let's soak a minute. No rush. Parking lot's still empty the last time I looked, which was just now. I'll let it soak a minute and we'll come back to it. Sometimes I find that you teach these front end parts about the mechanic and stuck front end parts relationship. And then usually the front end parts will cooperate, but not always. But sometimes. Like I said, it'll take a few tries on occasion. Well, I think that's about as good as it's going to get. Of course, I haven't gone up to see if the wheel's straight yet, but we'll do that. We'll do that in a second, once I tighten this up. Try to never walk away from a loose front end bolt, and then you end up on someone's YouTube channel. Alright, I went in and fired up the engine, centered the steering wheel, and of course everything moved. That's to be expected. I told you it was going to take a few tries, right? So I took the steering wheel lock off and the steering wheel went thunk. So I had to start it up and recenter it. I'm not going to bother locking it. What's the point? A lot of play in the steering box. I'm going to try to get a little better. But right now the steering wheel will have to get pulled to the right to make it go straight, because the tires are pointed this way with the wheel straight. So to straighten the wheels out, right? So let's see if we can just get a little better. I'll show you what that looks like. It's gonna be boring just filming it over and over and over. It'll probably take 3 tries, I'm guessing. Notice the total toe is not changing. Just how centered the wheel is. I'm gonna snug them up again and we'll go check the steering wheel. Ah, now it's off to the left. Okay. We're having fun. Alright. 4 tries was an optimistic guess, but 5 tries did it. Now, engine running, centered wheel, shit car off, wheel still centered. Well, hundredths of a degree within hundredths of a degree. And there's enough play in that steering box that you're rarely going to have the wheel centered trying to stay in the lane anyway. Road test is next. I already torqued them, but since I drove it over to the alignment rack, I said, you know what? I'm just going to bump a couple and make sure nothing weird happened. Because I don't trust my big gigantic nuts like this.
Once it's out of the steering column, all bets are off. Making me thirsty doing this.
It's easy. Alright guys, we are buttoning it up. That's it for today. So thanks for watching. Hope you got something from today's video. Appreciate your company. Maybe you'll torque the like button on the way out. More than anything, hope I'll see you in another video. Because you're awesome.